Rich but strict boss fell madly in love with her poor cleaner and even paid his girlfriend $20 million just to be with him. And what happened next will leave you in tears. Hey friends, today we bring you another amazing movie that will keep you at the edge of your seat. It is very educative and fascinating, but before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe for more captivating movies from us. The movie opens in a fashion house, where some staff were gossiping about the death of their boss and the new CEO taking over, who happens to be the sister of their late boss. They feared they might not be able to please her. Just then, the new CEO, Miss Vernita, and her PA walked in, and the staff scattered immediately. Miss Vernita ordered her PA to arrange a meeting with the staff. As she was about to leave, she bumped into the janitor, Boma, who was holding a bucket of dirty water, and it spilled on her. Fearing he would be fired, Boma begged for forgiveness, but unfortunately, she fired him for being clumsy and walked away, leaving him confused and helpless. The next day was Valentine's Day. In another scene, Oma's boyfriend brought gifts for her and her mother, leaving them happy and thankful. Her sister, Gift, later joined them and celebrated with them. Shortly after, Boma entered with a single flower. Gift, who was his girlfriend, received it joyfully, but her mother was irritated by how poor he was and began demeaning him. Feeling humiliated, Boma walked away, and Gift went after him to apologize. She encouraged him to work harder so he could give her a comfortable life, leaving Boma deep in thought as they left. The following day, Boma went to look for a job at a building site, but the manager refused him, saying he couldn't trust him because he was too handsome and above the level of the workers. Tired and confused, Boma continued searching for a job as a gatekeeper or cleaner, but the security man told him there was no vacancy and chased him out. Days later, Boma returned to his previous job where he was sacked. He went on his knees and pleaded with the new boss, Miss Vernita, to forgive him and rehire him. Surprisingly, she didn't even remember him and asked for his name. When he told her, she gave him back his job. He left thankful and happy, while she continued her meeting with her PA about the model they had contacted for a shoot. Later that day, Boma and his girlfriend Gift were together in the bedroom spending quality time. He shared his struggles in searching for a job after being fired. At first, she was disappointed, but when she heard he had gotten his job back, she was relieved. She began researching his boss online, and her fashion style and luxury accessories excited her, leaving Boma happy to see her happy. The following day at the fashion house, Miss Vernita expressed her frustration to her PA, Nora, saying that the model agents were becoming unreliable and the show was fast approaching. While discussing, they heard a sound from the closet. When asked who was there, Boma came out shirtless, apologizing in fear, saying he was only trying to change. Miss Vernita looked at him in a strange way, called her PA, and whispered something to her. Boma panicked, thinking he would be fired again. Miss Vernita then stood up and took a proper look at him, admitting she liked what she saw. Boma immediately told her he had a girlfriend and couldn't cheat on her, which impressed Miss Vernita, though that wasn't her intention. Just then, the PA and the stylist returned with a very nice suit and began dressing Boma, leaving him shocked and confused. Hours later, Miss Vernita was starstruck when she saw how handsome and presentable Boma looked. She asked if he would like to model for her. He asked for time to think about it, but she insisted there was no time. He had to accept immediately or not at all. Overwhelmed by the thought of earning more money for his girlfriend, he agreed. Miss Vernita was impressed and said her lawyer would draft a contract for him. The next day at Miss Vernita's office, Boma, with his lawyer, signed the contract and they celebrated. Later, on her way home, Miss Vernita couldn't get Boma off her mind as she smirked all through her ride. Meanwhile, in his apartment, Boma tried calling his girlfriend, but she didn't answer. Shortly after, he received a call from Miss Vernita's PA, Nora, asking him to come in for a shoot. At first, he wanted to decline, saying it was impromptu, but he had already signed an agreement to be available anytime, leaving him speechless. Later, with the help of Miss Vernita's driver, Boma arrived at her house and Nora attended to him. They were preparing an entry for Eastern Magazine, a major magazine in Paris, and had only a few hours left to submit their model and collection, so they got to work immediately. Hours later, the photo shoot began. When Miss Vernita was dressing him, there was a strong connection between them, making Boma uncomfortable. After the shoot, Boma wanted to change back into his normal clothes, but Miss Vernita refused, insisting he maintain the new look since he was now a star. Left with no choice, he agreed. Curious, he asked why she chose him when there were many other good-looking men. Miss Vernita simply said there was something special about him. To clear the air, Boma told her bluntly that he couldn't give her anything outside their contract, or he would walk away despite the fame and money he could lose. He left in Miss Vernita's car as she insisted her driver drop him off. On this fateful day, it was Gift's mother's birthday. The girls and Oma's boyfriend all celebrated with her and brought gifts. Just then, Boma entered with the small gift he bought for her, but Gift's mother ignored him and acted like he was invisible, leaving him humiliated and disgraced. He left immediately. Gift tried to go after him, but her mother stopped her, and they continued their celebration. The following day at the fashion house, Boma looked disturbed and lost in thought when Miss Vernita checked on him. He pleaded to take a few hours off to clear his head, but she gave him the entire day off and insisted her driver drop him home, leaving him thankful. Days later, Miss Vernita's interest in Boma was becoming obvious. She spent her nights scrolling through his pictures and smiling. The next day, Boma visited Miss Vernita's apartment to check on her because she wasn't available for the shoot, and it got him concerned. Vernita believed he missed her, but he rebuked her gently, saying he never said that. He was only concerned. She then invited him to a party she was attending, but Boma unapologetically turned her down, saying his girlfriend wouldn't like the idea. He left, leaving her deep in thought. Later that day, Gift visited Boma and apologized for how her mother spoke to him, and he forgave her. He told her about the modeling contract he just got and showed her the contract form. Gift was excited for him, but became disappointed when she saw the pay. Boma assured her it would get better with time since he was still a novice. They chatted and enjoyed their time together afterward. Days later, Miss Vernita modeled with Boma as they took pictures together, but Boma seemed uncomfortable and tense. Later, on their way home in Miss Vernita's car, she invited Boma for dinner at her house, but he declined bluntly. She persisted, but he asked to be dropped off, and he left, leaving Vernita disappointed. That night, Miss Vernita couldn't sleep. Boma's memory kept playing in her head, and everything began troubling her mind. Could it be that the boss was now falling in love with her poor staff just like that? Or was it just infatuation? Well, let's find out. One cool night, Boma and his girlfriend were taking a stroll in the estate, but guess what? Miss Vernita was parked in her car watching them, and then she drove off. This is getting more interesting. What do you think will happen next? Days later, Miss Vernita had a meeting with her staff. Everyone contributed their suggestions, but when Boma raised his hand, she completely ignored him throughout the meeting, and even afterward, leaving him confused and wondering. Later, on their way home, Boma expressed his concerns about being ignored at the meeting, but she assured him everything was fine. She then told him about a partner from Paris who wanted to collaborate with them, and she wanted him to meet them. She believed he might get to work with them, and even though the current contract still stood, she wanted him to grow. Boma was touched by her kindness and thankful. That night, after the meeting, Miss Vernita introduced him to the modeling agents from Paris. Boma was deeply moved and thanked her sincerely. She apologized for the advances she had made and commended him for being humble, loyal, and honest. They wished each other good night, and her driver dropped him off. Still that night, in his room, Boma couldn't sleep. Miss Vernita's kind gesture moved him deeply, and he kept thinking about how warm and nice she had always been to him. Her image kept replaying in his mind, leaving him thoughtful. The following day, Miss Vernita was in her office working when Boma walked in with a free spirit and offered to take her out for lunch. She was shocked, but still went with him. Later at her house, they toasted with wine to a successful shoot, talked, laughed, bonded, and learned more about each other. Later that night, Boma fell asleep on the couch. She covered him with a duvet, admired him for a moment, and left quietly. The next morning, Boma woke up shocked to find himself still in her house. He rushed to leave, but Vernita pleaded with him to have some coffee before going, and he agreed. They talked about her sister, his late boss, who fell sick and didn't survive. As a promise to her sister, she quit her job at the family bank to take over the fashion house. Boma was touched and impressed. He got ready to leave, but Vernita begged him to stay longer. Boma, fearing he was getting too connected and feeling guilty toward his girlfriend, suggested they stop seeing each other after work. He left, leaving her disappointed. Later that day, Gift angrily confronted Boma for not coming home, believing he was cheating on her. Boma, still honest, told her everything and assured her nothing was happening. Gift became angry and threatened to hurt Vernita if she tried anything with her man. Boma calmly reassured her, and they enjoyed the rest of their time together. The following day, Boma was still asleep when his uncle paid him a surprise visit all the way from Bayelsa State. Minutes later, his uncle shared the good news that they had found oil on their land, and it automatically made them millionaires. Boma screamed with excitement. He immediately tried to call Gift to share the news, but his uncle stopped him, warning him not to tell anyone yet, because he believed Gift was too materialistic. His uncle left, while Boma remained thrilled and fulfilled. Days later, Boma and Miss Vernita were at the fashion house going through some collections on her tablet when Gift unexpectedly walked in, leaving them shocked. She almost created a scene trying to claim her man, making it obvious to Miss Vernita that they were in a relationship. Boma calmly told her to wait at the reception for him, and she left while they continued what they were doing. Days later, Miss Vernita informed him about an impromptu shoot happening in Abuja that would last for 2 weeks. But Boma unapologetically turned it down, saying he couldn't go to Abuja and insisting they do the shoot in Lagos. She said no more. Later that day, Gift was on the phone with Boma about the shoot in Abuja. She didn't support it at all, insisting he must not go because she believed his boss only wanted to spend one-on-one time with him, and she wouldn't allow it. Oma, who was listening, advised Gift to calm down and allow Boma to go and make his money. But Gift, still paranoid, refused and insisted she would protect her man at all cost. Days later, Miss Vernita visited Gift to strike a deal with her, to convince Boma to travel to Abuja with her for the sum of 20 million naira. At first, Gift was paranoid and shouted for her to leave, but the moment she heard the amount, her attitude changed instantly, and she called out her account details. She was shocked when she received the alert and became thrilled, but still warned Miss Vernita not to do anything silly with her man. Vernita left afterward. That night, Boma and Gift were together in the bedroom. Gift successfully convinced Boma to go for the trip, encouraging him that it would help him connect and network with other models. Left with no choice, he agreed, leaving Gift happy and fulfilled. But wait, guys. What do you think will happen if Boma finds out he was sold out for just 20 million naira? I can't tell how he will react, but let's find out together. The next day, Boma informed Miss Vernita that he had agreed to go with her to Abuja, leaving her excited, though she remained silent. Finally, Boma, Miss Vernita, and the rest of the crew arrived in Abuja. Unfortunately, every hotel in the area was fully booked, leaving only 2 rooms available. There was a carnival on the street, so everything was occupied. Boma and Miss Vernita ended up stuck in one room, while Nora and the rest of the crew shared the other room. Boma became paranoid and asked the waitress to look for another room for him, and she left. Vernita excused herself to freshen up, leaving Boma uncomfortable about being in the same room with her. The next morning, Nora came to apologize and pleaded with Boma to share the room with Miss Vernita since she was staying with the rest of the crew. Boma was left helpless and confused as she walked away. Left alone, he became furious, believing she planned everything, and he went to take his bath. Later, as he stepped out shirtless, Vernita almost got carried away by his hot chest when Nora entered to brief them on the activities for the day and showed the designs to Miss Vernita. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, Boma called Gift, only for her to say she was shopping before quickly ending the call, leaving him surprised. Hours later outside, Boma looked worried and stressed when Vernita joined him. He shared his worries about his girlfriend, and she encouraged him to live his life and have fun instead of stressing himself. He agreed, and the two of them began playing and having fun together. Later in the room, they lay together on the bed, talking about crypto investment and losses. She explained everything in detail, which left him impressed and educated. They bonded even more as the connection between them grew stronger. The following day, Boma and Vernita returned to their hotel room from their shoot, which Boma found interesting. Suddenly, Vernita couldn't hold back and kissed him passionately. He immediately stopped her and walked away, leaving her deep in thought. Outside, Boma couldn't contain his emotions. So much was running through his mind. What could he possibly do in this situation? He had been controlling himself from the beginning, but the temptation before him was becoming bigger than him. Will he eventually fall? Let's keep watching. The next day, Nora was giving their itinerary and plans for the next shoot, but Boma seemed lost in thought, replaying his fun moments with Vernita. He didn't hear anything until his attention was called. He immediately composed himself as the meeting ended and Nora left. Left alone, Vernita apologized to him, but Boma abruptly invited her to hang out with him, leaving her shocked, but she accepted. That night, Boma and Vernita returned after having a good time together at the club. While laughing and talking, the connection between them sparked again. Boma expressed his feelings for her and how deeply he had fallen in love with her. Their emotions were high and intense, until they were interrupted by the room service informing Boma that another room was now available. Boma declined, saying he was fine where he was. The staff left, leaving Vernita impressed. They continued their moment, and uncontrollably, they got carried away by their emotions and spent a lovely time together in bed. Finally, Boma couldn't handle the temptation anymore and fell deeply. How sad, guys. The next morning, Vernita was fast asleep, and Boma admired her while she slept. Suddenly, Gift called him and requested $500K. Boma was shocked at why she needed such an amount, but he still agreed to send her the money. Later that day, Nora discussed their plans with Boma. Vernita joined them, and the two of them had a lovely time together, talking and vibing. Finally, the 2 weeks were over, and Boma returned home. Gift came to welcome him, but Boma was uncontrollably cold toward her. She flaunted her new hair and all the shopping she had done. Irritated, Boma later confronted her about her lavish spending and luxurious lifestyle. Sensing something was wrong, Gift asked him what the problem was. Boma, being the honest man he was, confessed that he now had feelings for Vernita and no longer for her. This left Gift speechless and dumbfounded. The next day, Boma visited Vernita and told her he had informed Gift about them, but he still felt guilty for cheating when he could have ended things properly first. Vernita consoled him and encouraged him not to overthink things. The following day, Gift expressed her anger and disappointment to her sister, Oma. Their mother suddenly entered, crying and sitting on the floor. When asked what the problem was, she said Boma was now extremely rich and she regretted how they had treated him. She begged them to call him and apologize. Gift was left confused, thinking of what she had missed, or would miss, with Boma no longer in her life. The next day, Gift angrily confronted Vernita at the fashion house and warned her to stay away from her man, or she would do something crazy. Vernita didn't utter a word. She only smiled and listened before Gift left. She then calmly returned to what she was doing with her PA. Later that day, Boma gifted Vernita a property he bought in her name. As her man, he wanted to give back in the best way he could because she made him who he was. Vernita refused the gift and politely told him to go back to Gift, but Boma refused, saying he knew what he wanted and that he also had compensation for Gift. Vernita was left speechless, confused, and overwhelmed with guilt. The next day, Boma visited Gift. Everyone welcomed him warmly, especially her mother. Gift assured him she had forgiven him for cheating, but Boma had already made up his mind. He told her this visit would be his last, and to compensate her for the troubles, he would give her 50 million naira to move on with her life. Offended, Gift confessed that Vernita, whom he was leaving her for, had paid her 20 million naira just to convince him to go to Abuja with her. She even showed him the receipt. This left Boma heartbroken and disappointed. He walked away, leaving them shocked and her mother sad that she wouldn't get the money. Boma angrily confronted Vernita, expressing his disappointment. Vernita, filled with remorse, begged for his forgiveness, but Boma was too angry to listen. Right there, he terminated their contract and broke up with her on the spot, leaving Vernita heartbroken and helpless. Just then, Nora came out and asked why she hadn't told Boma about the pregnancy at least. But Vernita said she couldn't tie him down with such news, and she sat down sorrowfully. A few months later, Vernita's pregnancy was very obvious, and Nora took care of her and helped with errands. Shortly after, a luxurious car drove into Vernita's compound. And guess who it was? Boma. He had probably come back for Vernita, or maybe he now knew about the pregnancy. Inside, Vernita was shocked to see him. Nora quickly apologized for informing Boma about the pregnancy because she couldn't keep it to herself. Then she excused them. Boma was hurt that he hadn't been informed earlier. He sincerely apologized for running away, saying he needed space.